in these contexts here, where I was saying that this area that Bitcoin was trading in was resistance. And despite the fact that Bitcoin managed to trade up here, and I even said to you guys point blank, I don't even know why this was happening. I said this yesterday. I didn't even know why we pumped up this high. It didn't make any sense to me, but I still maintained my position, which was that I was expecting Bitcoin to drop lower. That's because it's been in not only, a pretty sizable bearish downtrend for, a couple of months now, going back to the middle of April. So that's more than 2 months that we've been trending downward. But also just on the shorter term time frame, we look at the 1 hour time frame, it established another short-term downtrend right here. And it's very clear with all the same patterns, right? On the small time frames, we get the same patterns that we see on the bigger time frames as well. We trend downwards, we form a rising wedge, then we continue moving down. We form a bear flag, then we continue moving down. We form another bear flag, and we continue moving down. We have a freak incident where we test the resistance again, completely unexpected, not something I could have predicted, but then we fall back down. And what are we in right now? I mean, to me, this just looks like we've trended down, and now the market is starting to pause. This is a typical continuation pattern before we might end up trending a little bit lower. So thank you all, by the way, for mentioning to me that that the sound wasn't working. Please let me know if everything is okay now. You guys seem to be saying that it's all okay, so thank you very much. Let's move on from here. That was obviously a very, very important note about this bear flag, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, discussing how I think this could get worse. The fact is, as you guys have known for a long time, I'm still fairly bullish on this market. I am seeing bad bearish patterns in this chart. What do you expect? The price has more than halved from the high to the low. So, this shouldn't be taking you by surprise, the fact that I'm seeing very bearish things on the chart. But I still think that on a macro scale, we're looking pretty good. We are going to break the all-time high. Things are going to go very well. So shout out to those of you who've been tuning in for this live stream early on. Make sure you do smash up those likes if you are finding these live streams entertaining or informative in any way. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And let's carry on with this analysis right here. I'm going to keep on talking about what I'm seeing in this market, the kind of positions that I'm planning on trading. VIPs have actually known which position I've been trading. I'm actually currently in a short position, which is at about 40% profit, because I entered the short position right around over here. So I was temporarily in a loss of up to about, 18%. And now I'm in a profit of about 40%. So that's pretty cool. I've already secured profits. My stop loss has already been lowered from all the way up here down to break even around about over here, and I'm just in the money now. I mean, this trade can shoot right back up. It can do the worst thing possible, and I'll still be in a profit. I'm still going to close this position out in a profit, so I'm very, very happy with what's going on today. I'm going to break this down for you a little bit further, but the other things to keep in mind are where these indicators are. If we take a look at things like the Ichimoku cloud on the hourly, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to hit it. We came pretty close, but we didn't get a chance to hit it, and we did start finding resistance. And this is not a surprise. I was talking to you guys about how, just going back to the live stream with Tone Vase. By the way, if you came from Tone Vase's channel, shout out to you guys. Welcome to all the new viewers. And, Tone Vase pointed out himself on that live stream that anywhere kind of below this yellow line, there's not much support for the trend. So I've been very vocal about this. When we drop below key levels like this, or actually my key level has always been 30,000, but Tone Vase pointed out a very good one here, which was 34,900, roughly where this line is. Anytime you drop below key levels like this, you're typically going to fall quite badly, right? You're not only going to fall quite low, in this case it wasn't particularly low, but you're also going to fall very fast. And that's what happened over here. We fell very fast. We also recovered back up very fast on almost all of these occasions. 2 small fake outs right here, but still they're very quick price action, and that's the point. The real thing right here, ladies and gents, is that if the market does fall below levels like this, the market is typically going to fall significantly lower. That's usually what we see coming off levels like that, and that's actually what's concerning for me with these bits of price action right here, because Bitcoin now does have to probably fall down to this support area. We haven't quite hit it yet, so there's still some room for us to drop lower. This is an area where honestly I'm not super optimistic about what Bitcoin can do. You guys have all heard my predictions here. I'll get to that in just a minute. Unfortunately, it's not much positivity, but when we put this into the perspective of the broader image, this is actually great for the market. This is super healthy, and I'll talk about why that is in just a little bit. But for now, very, very important to keep in mind that since we have fallen below this yellow line, I think we are pretty much destined to fall back down to this blue box. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're very close. And you guys have known, I've been saying this in my videos, that if we do fall below this yellow line, we're probably going down to the blue box. So we've nearly completed that prediction. We're about 90%, 95% of the way there. Nearly done it. And from there, we can find support and trend up higher again. That's where my job as an analyst and trader is pretty much done. In my view, I mean, I'm in a trade right now. I'm in a short position. I've made my 40% profit. I'm happy if we find support here and shoot through the roof, and my position closes out. That's completely fine as far as I'm concerned, because it's the position's already done. The position is already the position is already it's been in a profit, and I'm very, very happy with it. So that's my take on where this on this support level is, and then the possibilities of a support bounce. This is where, unfortunately, my analysis is still pretty bleak. It's the same thing that I was saying back here. On this occasion, I was wrong. I was saying that I thought Bitcoin would kind of potentially just fall straight through this level, or maybe trade sideways and then fall straight through. It's the same thing right here. I think either we're just going to plummet straight through this level, or perhaps more likely we're going to kind of bounce around in this range for a little bit and then drop lower. Maybe we'll even find really good support here and bounce all the way back up to this level, and then maybe find some resistance and move down. But what I feel fairly certain about is just the fact that, I mean, look, on a broad scale, we've had 3 very nice tests of this support level. We've only had one real test of the $42,000 level. We've gotten to the range a couple times. We've gotten to the range 3 times, but only tested the level once. And this to me is a sign that while the market can very easily push the downside and very easily hit these support levels on the downside, it's actually struggling to even reach the top. So that's what this swing failure pattern is telling me. And to me, that's an indication that actually the market is still bearish. And again, when we put that into the context of the longer term market, I'm seeing more evidence for that same idea. I'm seeing more evidence that, just like I was showing you right here, we are trending down, we are forming rising wedges, then we're forming bear flags and dropping down from them, and then we're forming more bear flags and dropping down from them, and then sometimes the bear flags are really bloody big, like this one right here, but then still potentially dropping down from them as well. So that's a long-term picture of how we're trending down, forming our continuation patterns and trending down again. And I've already shown you just a few minutes ago in this live stream how we've done the same thing on these smaller time frames. We're trending down, forming continuation patterns, and then trending down. Another continuation pattern, and then trending down. This is a classic staircase pattern that you guys hear me talk about all the time with this technical analysis. I really mean it when I say that if you just master things like this, these fundamentals very well, you're going to be in a very good place. Price action like this, ladies and gents, should not be worrying you too much. The market is, first of all, Bitcoin's at fucking $32,000. Let's just take a minute to appreciate how crazy and good that is. That's a very, very impressive price level. And second of all, it's healthy for the market. And as a trader, there's opportunities to make money here. So it's very funny. I've been accused of being in short positions here, trying to push the market lower as if I have that much power. I wish I did. That would be very fun. Unfortunately, I don't have enough power to manipulate markets that much yet. Maybe we'll see how that goes. But this is actually the only real short position that I've taken in this market for a while. And it has already worked out fairly well. So in this case, very much putting my money where my mouth is. And I've already committed to that trade coming off yesterday's video. So all VIP members got the updates on how that was going for me. This is the post that I put inside of VIP mentioning that I actually mentioned this position to VIPs earlier. I said I wanted to trade it as a momentum position, but it actually looked better for me on this chart where Bitcoin was trending back up to that same yellow line, and I was expecting this exact, this is the arrow that I drew expecting this price action, and this is what happened. So we overshot my prediction a little bit, but it was still a very, very accurate prediction. I'm still super happy with it, very, very proud. And I mentioned to VIP members that I went short with 5x leverage. I entered at the current price. Bitcoin then shot up more than $1,000 higher, so actually I could have gotten a much better entry level. And I made a follow-up post about that. I said it's now trading at 35,500, which I think is an even better entry point for this trade. But I also mentioned the same thing I said in yesterday's video, that basically I was confused about this, that it looks very strange. And I'm leaving everything as it is. I'm leaving my stop loss where it is, and I'm trusting the plan. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but these are all the updates that I gave inside of VIP. you can pause the live stream and read this, because it's a lot of very, very useful information. I'll just hide my face so you can read all of this. I do give full breakdown videos of my trades inside of 4Fly's VIP. So here are the follow-up posts where I mentioned that I'm very glad I'm waiting. Bitcoin has fell off a cliff. I'm in a profit now, and so on. Obviously, I'm showing right here, see 42% profit locked in. My stop loss is at break even. So, these are the updates I give to VIP members when my trades are already going on. Of course, all VIP members get full access to that information. We're running a flash sale right now, so now's your time to get in if you're curious about it. And this is something which I'm going to go into much more detail with just for VIP members. So those of you who are in VIP, once this trade closes, I'm going to make a breakdown video breaking down every single step of this trade, why I chose everything very, very with very intricate details. The last VIP video was actually free for you all to watch, so you can find that on my channel if you just type in VIP video, or just look at my previous uploads. You'll see a VIP video. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. You can find that video and you can see what that kind of content was like. But if you do want to get in, we're running a discount right now. Here are your steps to join. But let's take it back to the price action for now. I am unfortunately expecting another drop down. The only thing that's surprising me with this trend is that we're moving down pretty quickly, right? These continuation patterns are very short. See, this rising wedge here lasted 10 hours. This bear flag here lasted 20 hours. This one here lasted 1 day. We're not actually consolidating for long. We're not forming long-term continuation patterns. The market is just quite rapidly dropping, and we can see that on the daily time frame, right? Take a look at this on the daily time frame. This is a pretty quick drop. I mean, the bulk of these drops have just happened in 3 days, and it's not like the other drops we've seen. I mean, the other drops have taken a little bit longer, I think, or actually, now that I'm looking at the chart, it doesn't quite look that way. But this is still quite a severe drop, because we're essentially starting this drop from the top of the range and falling all the way down to the bottom. But it wasn't like this one started at the top of the range but didn't fall to the bottom. This one fell to the bottom but didn't start at the top of the range. This was a big sell-off, and it happened quickly, right? So there's quite a bit of strength behind this. This is usually where I'd actually say that, well, I think the bears have had their fun, and it's time for the market to start, recovering up. But unfortunately, I just don't see any support in this range, right? I mean, if we zoom out, there's nothing right here that can offer support to Bitcoin other than this. Just according to what I'm seeing. The market has a little bit of support right here. You can see that we formed some nice bounces, right? So there's a little bit of support, but this isn't much. Not only did the support only develop within the space of literally 1 day, so not that long. Let me put my face cam back on. Not only did this develop over the space of just 1 day, but also it's only got 2 hits, and the hits are not really spaced out. So I'm not seeing much support in this range, which is actually why I'm a little bit surprised that we're consolidating here. I would have expected a faster sell-off, and that's why I'm expecting Bitcoin to fall back down into this box. Very important to know that, this analysis hasn't changed. I was saying that I thought we would break out over here. Obviously, that didn't happen. I didn't trade it. I wasn't even putting money behind those thoughts as well. And that's really what it comes down to. A lot of the time, even the best analysts will have the wrong analysis, and that's completely fine as long as you're not losing money. As long as you're actually making money when you trade, it's fine to have analysis that doesn't go your way. And that's the thing here, is I was saying that, if we drop below this level, we're probably going to drop by a lot. It didn't happen the first time, but just hours later, we did instigate that big drop, and we are now looking at testing the support level. And again, the thing that I have to keep on bringing you back to, ladies and gents, is the fact that this is all happening inside of quite a bearish market space. So look, every time we fall down to these support levels that we've tested a lot, and we have tested this a lot now. The first time that we tested the support level was the 19th of May. It's now 33 days later, and we've again, for the 4th time, found ourselves back down at this level. This level is being tested, right? The patience of this market is being tested. And it's not to say that it's going to break, but if there's any time where it's going to break, look, I'm not optimistic about this. I wish I could tell you that this market is still going to the moon, but I'd be lying to you, right? As a realistic analyst that's not scared of speaking my mind, where I'm not scared of losing viewers or clout or whatever just because I'm saying what's on my mind, this looks like shit. This is a very bad place for the market to be in. Just straight up. I can't give you bullish analysis here. And it was the same thing yesterday, where even though there was some potential for bullish outcomes, the fact is, ladies and gents, there's just so much resistance on this chart. There was resistance over here, and I told you guys that even if we broke this resistance in this green box, we have more resistance right above. It's a bearish chart. The bears are in control. And I think that's going to stay the case until Bitcoin falls into that support level, if it does, because obviously nothing is guaranteed. So if we do fall into this resistance box, this is where I think things can get a little bit more interesting. We could see a very quick spike. Maybe we rise all the way back up here. This turns into a resistance hit, and then we end up dropping much lower. We could just consolidate right over here and then drop down. I think both of those are fairly likely. I actually think it's more likely that we just kind of drop down. And if we drop down, that's where the market becomes really, really exciting to me. That's where the market becomes very exciting to me. And the reason for that is because if we drop down, we could be looking at a lot of price action. Because the next thing that I want to draw your attention to, ladies and gents, is the volatility in this market. A lot of people right now are starting to lose faith in the Bitcoin market. They're starting to feel like, wow, actually, this has felt like a Bitcoin winter for a long time. We haven't done anything interesting for a while. Are we really at the end? Is it actually the end? This is where people are really starting to question themselves. This is a big deal. The market does this, and it does this regularly. It's going to completely wash out expectations. And like broadly speaking, it's not that bad. Broadly speaking, we had a big uptrend. We've now been consolidating at a low level for about 35 days. It's not that bad, right? I mean, considering how long Bitcoin, and this isn't even the whole uptrend, but just from 20K up to the all-time high, Bitcoin was trending up for 120 days. 120, that's 4 months. And we've been sideways here for 1 month. So it's really not that bad. Technically, this is not that bad. Even if we drop lower, it's not that bad. But psychologically, people are wrecked, man. People are really losing their shit. They're really scared. They're very worried about what's going on in the market. This is what the Bitcoin market does. You must be aware of this. If you're not, you're going to be subject to it, and you're going to be the loser here. So very, very important to keep in mind that this is what the Bitcoin market does. It will wash out those beliefs that people have, and actually where this turns bullish again and where this turns exciting, guys, smash up the likes if you're enjoying this, because I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to show you exactly how these markets function, and bear with me, let me illuminate my face, and how this is actually quite predictable price action. Here we go. I'm lit up now. And really the big thing right here, where this really transforms and becomes very exciting, is the market will do these things. It will make people question their beliefs. It will crash lower. It will consolidate for 30 days, crash lower again, do very, very scary things. It doesn't have to do the things I've just given you the example of, but it very well can. And then, and this is where it gets very exciting, when that happens, a lot of people are going to lose faith in Bitcoin, and the next day, we're shooting up. That's how it works in these markets. That's what we've seen many, many times. I'm gonna show you a classic example of this. This is the same example that you've seen many times. Shout out to those of you who are already subscribed to this YouTube channel, because you probably already know exactly what I'm gonna talk about. Bear with me, because this is such a relevant example in this market right here. You've already guessed it. It's this price action right here that happened in June of 2017. So those of you who have been subscribed, shout out to those of you. Thank you very much for all of your support. Bitcoin managed to set a high at the $3,000 level, consolidated sideways, and at first it looked okay. At first, like with our pullback from 65K down to, 30K or whatever, it didn't look that bad. Whatever, it was fine. But right here, we're seeing that the market topped out at 3,000K, established what looked like a bull flag, but then it started to go on for a little bit too long, and people started to question if this is actually going to be a bull flag or if it's going to break down. We're really testing our patience right here, because it's not breaking out. It's already, this is the thing, like if you're drawing a bull flag, you're drawing the symmetrical triangle, it's already completed the symmetrical triangle and still no breakout, right? So it's signs like this where you're expecting a huge rocket ship, you're getting what, like plus $20. So you're really, really having your confidence shaken with the market when things like this happen. So this is like where we are right now. And then bam, it gets worse. Now you're actually dropping much lower. And okay, there's still a floor here, so people aren't worrying too much. What happens to that floor? A couple days later, we fall below it. This is where things get bad. This is where things really get very worrying for people. We've fallen out of a bullish pattern. We had a breakout and it failed. We've now fallen back down. We had a floor. Okay, we're cool. Now that floor is lost and we've fallen significantly lower. But where do we retrace down to? I mean, it's textbook, ladies and gents. It couldn't be more obvious than this, in my opinion. This is probably not the right Fibonacci level. Bear with me. This is right here. Where do we fall down to? Exactly at the 0.5 Fibonacci level is where the market finds support, and bam, we're back up. V-shaped correction, very, very quick price action, just as quick as we fell down is how quickly we recover back upwards. And if you know anything about the chart back here, Bitcoin has never fallen back down to that level. So all it's doing here is it's pushing people right to the extreme of fear, right to the extreme of, this is called capitulation, where people just don't believe in this anymore. They're throwing in the towel. They're basically committing trading suicide, and they're out of the game. And it's the very next day, the price has shot up. I remember this because I was the idiot selling down here. This was the first and last time that I ever panic sold Bitcoin. I remember this because I was the idiot here, right? So there's going to be new idiots in this market now because we have a new market cycle. That's what makes this stuff very exciting. Thank you all to all of you who've already hit up the likes on this video, because that was a very, very powerful little piece that you all need to be aware of. Like I said, the market has never fallen back down to that level since this time. So that should tell you a little bit about how bullish what we're in right now is. Even if we drop, I'm just not worried about it because the market has done this before. This is very normal for the Bitcoin market to turn a good situation bad and to turn bad much, much worse only before turning good once again. This is so typical in the trading markets. I've shown you a classic example of how that happens, and I'm talking to you about how I think it's so possible that Bitcoin is going to do that right now. Doesn't mean it is, doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but I think it's so possible that Bitcoin is going to do something like that once again, guys. Shout out to those of you who have been showing your love on these videos. There's a lot of haters because I'm speaking my mind. I'm telling the truth. You guys hate hearing it. I hate saying it just as much as you hate hearing it. But you know what I hate? What I love much more? You know what's a much more intense emotional high is actually being right in these markets, right? I mean, like, it feels much more rewarding than it feels bad to give you bad analysis, to give you negative analysis here where we're at resistance, to tell you we're probably going to drop. Everyone hates hearing it, but I much prefer being in the money. I much prefer being able to tell VIP members that I'm in a clean 42% profit, that my stop loss is at break even. So it's literally impossible for me to lose on this position. And I'm waiting for my target at 53% profit to hit. By the way, if that target hits, there are still more profits down below where I even look to potentially even double my money if Bitcoin continues to trend lower. So I'm very, very optimistic about how this position is playing out. Once again, we were running a flash sale for those of you who want to gain access to VIP right now. We're running a flash sale for those of you who want to gain access to VIP right now. You can access it by clicking on the first link in the description down below, then clicking on the @forwardflies button, and then clicking on the send message button to gain access into VIP. These are a bunch of screenshots of the posts that I put into VIP. There's a lot, and I am going to be deconstructing everything because I gave VIP members basically real-time updates on my position. So this is where it was going really bad. This was when Bitcoin was shooting up and I entered a loss, nearly hit my stop loss, but I mentioned that I'm just leaving everything where it is and I'm trusting my plan. I mentioned that I wouldn't have entered this trade in the first place if I wasn't comfortable enough to stomach the minus 23% stop loss hit. See over here, I mentioned that my stop loss is minus 23%. I mentioned in the next post, I wouldn't have entered this in the first place if I wasn't comfortable enough to stomach that 23% hit. A lot of traders, they're not comfortable enough to stomach those kind of things because they don't plan out their trades well enough before they enter them, and that's what does them. That's what screws them over. That's where, when things get difficult, when you start to lose confidence in your trades and strange things are happening, you'll just leave your trade because you haven't thought about it well enough. These are the kind of things that I'm teaching you to avoid in VIP and in our Full Flies Academy courses. Those courses teach you everything I know about trading from A to Z, start to finish. You don't need any prior experience. That's how we built them inside of the Full Flies group. And a lot of the time, depending on which membership you're taking, you're getting that stuff for free. Yearly members are going to get phone calls with me and different things like that. And by the way, I just found out from a very good source that because our company is based in the UAE, near Dubai, not actually in Dubai, giving financial advice is allowed for me. I didn't know that. So maybe I can even start considering that. Obviously, that kind of stuff is going to go to yearly members with our top package. But you know, broadly speaking, still a great offer regardless of what you're taking. And if you do want those phone calls with me, then yearly is what you're looking for. First link in the description down below, @4flies button, and then send message. These 3 clicks, no downloads, no signups required, will take you to gain access to VIP. Very, very important bit that I've just covered there about how the market will scare people out and how we could just be on the brink of that right now. The best bullish case that I'm seeing is honestly, yeah, we find a little bit of support. We start to find resistance up ahead again. This is where I turn mega bearish again, unless Bitcoin does something very impressive, which I just can't imagine. Because the thing is, we've already had the V-shaped correction, right? So this is the best thing Bitcoin could have done. You guys saw me starting to become bullish off the back of this V-shaped correction, because I mean, as far as, you know, something, you know, you get this dump. The only good thing Bitcoin can do from a dump like this is pump up in exactly the same way, like you're putting a mirror right here down the middle. That's the only good play for Bitcoin, in my opinion, and Bitcoin took it. So I got excited. How many times are you going to get those V-shaped corrections, though? It's not the first one we got. This was actually the second one we got. The first one, much more intense. The first one, we're dropping down more intense, we're recovering up more intensely. The second time, we're a little bit weaker, not only with the downside, but definitely with the upside. The recovery is definitely slower as well on the upside. That's telling me that even though, like, we've already had 2 V-shaped corrections, which I think was too many, and we're clearly getting weaker with each of these V-shaped corrections, what's that telling you about coming down here, right? Like, I don't think we're supposed to get that many V-shaped corrections in this kind of trend, yet here we are. We've already had 2. Are we going to get number 3? I don't think that's likely. Even if we do, look at the weakness that follows through with this one. I mean, you know, it's initially very slow to start up. Now, obviously, at the end, it rallies pretty much to the top, so it's good. It starts off a great rally. But at the beginning, very slow start. So that's something to keep in mind as well. These are the kind of characteristics that you're just not going to pick up on unless you really have a pulse on the market. You don't necessarily need to pick up on things like that. That's why you've got people like me. That's why you're watching my channel. But it's, you know, it's still useful to pay attention to things like that, because this is going to tell you a lot about, you know, when we break down exactly what this is telling us about with the market. This is telling us that the buyers are very excited over here, and the fact that it moves up slower the next time is telling us that buyers are less excited. What other conclusion can you draw? When buyers are excited, they buy the asset very quickly. When they're less excited, they don't buy it up as quickly. What other conclusion can you possibly draw? I mean, do we have more or less reasons to be excited right now? We've got all the bearish headlines. We've fallen below a critical support level. We're forming another bear flag. This is not the first bear flag we're forming in this market, ladies and gents. This is not the first bear flag that we're forming in this market cycle. Look at how many, bam, drop down, bam, drop down, right? Trend up a little bit, drop down again. In another bear flag. I just can't see it going any other way, unless there's some freak event. But that's why I've got risk management. That's why my stop loss is all the way down at break even now, up here at break even, to guarantee that now that I've taken profits on my trade, if something really weird happens, I still can't lose. That's a great place to be in. It's a very powerful place to be in. That's exactly where I try to help VIP members get to. Here's a member who just finished his first month inside of Forthlies VIP, made his first trade as well in that time, and just made $11,000. So very impressive. That's way more than this person paid to join Forthlies VIP. 52% profit. This person finally gained the confidence to make their first trade within 30 days of joining VIP. This person had a special deal where he got 2 months. And we are actually doing deals like that right now, so you can just reach out and ask for it. And this person, bam, $11,000. I mean, you know, just completely paid off the VIP fee many times. Must be like more than 10 times. I don't know the numbers, but very impressive gain that this person just enjoyed in their first month in VIP. So very much a cool place to be right now. Ladies and gents, I am going to go through your questions in a little bit, so please bear with me. If you do have any questions, you can start dropping them in the live chat by writing my name. Always make sure you write my name, Forthlies, in the comment section. Otherwise, I won't see your comment. And I will start going through your questions in just a little bit. I do also want to take it over to some other charts and throw on some indicators. So I will take a look at Ethereum. Bear with me before I get there. Let's just take a quick look at Bitcoin, finish off this analysis right here. 4-hour time frame still unfortunately not looking great. There's just no support down here. If we zoom out, we do start to find perhaps a little bit more support around these ranges, but it's still not great. I think we have, you know, I think Bitcoin has overstayed its welcome around these kind of, you know, support levels, and that's where I think things could get very bad. And actually, let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that if this blue box support collapses, we are going to have to fall down to either this green box down here or this blue box down here. So that's because there's no real support levels that I'm seeing in between these levels. That's very important to keep in mind, right? So basically between $30,000 and $20,000, And I'm actually just going to remove these boxes now because I just don't even think they're worth considering. You know, on the way up, this is the only price action Bitcoin has ever had between $20,000 and $30,000, right? That's very important. This level up here, 30,000. This level down here, 20,000. This is the only price history that Bitcoin has ever had in this $10,000 range. And that's very bad for us moving down, because that means that Bitcoin has never really had a chance to establish any resistance, which means that it's probably not going to be able to find any support on the way back down. You know, if we take a look at how Bitcoin managed to trade sideways here for so long, I'm gonna make a very, very important point for you guys really quick before I carry on, because this is going to be very important for a lot of people to pay attention to. Bitcoin managed to form a big area of consolidation right around here, right? And actually, I'm gonna draw two horizontal lines, one here and let's just say one up here, just to make it simple. There was a big area of consolidation that Bitcoin had over here. Bitcoin not only ranged massively within a 40% range, it also traded in this area for 38, nearly 40 days. So that's a long time to be trading here. In comparison, Bitcoin shot from 20K all the way up to 30K in 17 days. So literally, it spent half of its time traveling up $10,000 as it did consolidating in this $10,000 range. So this was a very, very important level. And so it's no surprise that when the market starts dropping, this is where the market starts to find some support. It's just because it was previously an area of interest. Now, unfortunately, when we take it back to the chart that I have over here, I don't think that Bitcoin has any points of interest between $20,000 and $30,000. That's where this analysis becomes a little bit more scary. Thank you very much for reminding people to smash up the likes. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you all very much for the support. If you are enjoying this content, please do hit up those likes. It really does help me out. I don't think that there's many interesting levels between $20,000 and $30,000 because we just didn't really trade sideways anywhere. I mean, this is just a straight shot up, right? I mean, this is the 4-hour time frame. This is a very small time frame to be looking at, and Bitcoin's just shot up. I mean, literally within a matter of, like a day, it's already gone up by 20%. This is big price action. We do then consolidate here for about 7 days, but then again, it shoots up massively. This is actually a gap that I traded and made something like 360% profit. Again, all VIP members saw how I made that profit. So that was a very, very impressive gain. And the same way with this trade right here, I told VIP members why I'd be entering it. I gave them all the reasons for why I'd be entering that trade. All the details of how I'd be entering that trade and the reasons and different things like that. And then, of course, with all VIP trades, you can also access tutorials to see how I'm entering them in the first place as well. So very good information available to you guys right there, almost regardless of skill level. I mean, definitely for beginners, but even those of you who are a little bit more experienced, you're definitely going to find something for yourself inside of ForFlies VIP. And if you have any questions, you can even get on the phone with a member of my team, and you can ask your questions about ForFlies VIP, and we'll hammer through them. So there you go. But overall, main point being, there's just not much that Bitcoin established in the way of resistance going up, which means that I don't think it's going to have much going down. It's also going to be dropping from quite a critical support level, right? $30,000 is quite an important support level. Bitcoin hasn't been below the support level for 171 days, so that is about half a year, and we've now been testing it for about 33 days, right? So no matter how you look at it, it's been a pretty long-term support level, which means that when we do drop below long-term support levels, we're probably going to drop down massively. This happens the opposite way when we're bullish as well. So those of you who've been watching this channel back here, you'll remember that I said that if we manage to pump above 20,000, we're probably going up to 27,000. I don't know why I said 27. It was just a random number, but it happened to be true. I said we're probably going to get to 27,000 very, very quickly, and we did, because 27,000 was all the way up here, and it took, I don't know what, like 2 weeks? So it was very, very quick for Bitcoin to rise all the way up to 27,000 after breaking 20. And that's not surprising, because $20,000 was an area of resistance for like 3 years. I mean, let me just calculate the days, by the way. I mean, just out of curiosity. I mean, it took Bitcoin 1,097 days. I mean, what is that in years? 1,097 divided by 365. That's exactly 3 years. Okay, that's poetic, isn't it? Like Bitcoin is able to break out 3 years later. That's why, because it's such a long-term resistance level, that's why we're getting such an explosive rally upwards. That happens when we're bullish, and it's the same principle when we're bearish. We're just flipping it around. Now, obviously, you don't want to do this. Emotionally, psychologically, you don't want to accept that these kind of things can happen in this market, but it doesn't matter. You need to man up. You need to grow a pair. Sorry to the ladies, you need to do the same as well. We're playing this game, right? This is where we are. You need to grow a pair, and you need to accept reality. These things happen in reverse just as much as they happen in the happy, positive way. This is the reality of these markets. If you don't like that, you can go watch a Moonboy channel. But if you want these doses of reality, you better believe they're going to be difficult to swallow. They're going to be difficult to accept. But as soon as you start accepting this kind of stuff, you're going to be able to start making money off these markets, right? Being able to be in these positions right here, where I'm making money while the market is getting destroyed, while VIP members are profiting 250% while the market is dropping. This is Ethereum going from $2,700 down to $2,400, making a 250% profit. This person recovering a bunch of his money after joining VIP, this German VIP member, and another member right here, bam, plus 50% profit, making money while the market is crashing. To be able to be in a position like that, you need to first be able to accept harsh realities. You need to be able to take them like a man. Again, women, whatever, like it doesn't matter. The point is you need to be able to take them with courage. You need to be able to accept them, internalize them, and bam, now you're a trading warrior. Now you're pulling 50%. That's the point that we need to be able to get to. So these things do happen in reverse, unfortunately. And because this area has been support for so long, I would expect quite a substantial breakdown. I would expect quite a substantial drop down from 30,000, purely just on the basis that it's been an important level for a long time. And because it's been an important level for a long time, it's going to be quite a shock if Bitcoin drops. And we look at this from a psychological perspective, people are actually going to have a lot of reason to lose faith in the market if we start to drop below such an important level. I mean, if you've been watching this market for a long time and you've set 30K as your base level for Bitcoin, and as soon as we drop below that, you're not interested in the market anymore, well, then you're going to sell your Bitcoin. And it's quite plausible that something like that's going to happen because we haven't dropped below 30K for nearly half a year. That's quite a long time. If you've only joined the market 4 months ago and you've analyzed the price and you've seen that 30K has been a very important level historically and recently, why would you still be interested in the market if we drop below 30K? The thing to keep in mind, and I was saying this while the market was bullish, nobody really listened to me apart from, a few of the very, very turned on subscribers. Hopefully more of you guys become that way now. What I was saying was during this whole rally, even though I was expecting higher levels, ladies and gents, even though I was expecting higher levels, I was still selling my Bitcoin, by the way. I was explaining to VIP members why I started selling my Bitcoin holdings right when Bitcoin was at 52K. Obviously, very, very impressive exit price to be selling Bitcoin at right now. The reason I was able to do these kind of things was I was looking at the market, and if you look down at the volume here, volume wasn't really peaking. I mean, just look at this orange moving average. Volume wasn't super high. Even on the daily time frame, volume just wasn't that high in this market to justify Bitcoin tripling its previous all-time high from 20K up to 65K. We just weren't seeing that many people buying. Price action like this would lead you to believe that everyone and their nan is bullish, everybody wants to buy Bitcoin, whereas realistically, what was actually happening here, I'm starting to lose my voice. What was actually happening here was that nobody wanted to sell their Bitcoin. It wasn't necessarily that everybody was buying, although that happened to be part of it. A lot of people were buying. Obviously, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of fear of missing out. Obviously, that played a part in it. But the biggest thing, I think, was that nobody wanted to sell. So now you've got a bunch of people that own a bunch of Bitcoin where nobody wanted to sell. All of a sudden, a lot of people want to sell. Of course, you're going to get big crashes, right? Of course, you're going to get big drops in the market that, start looking like 20K. So, that's what I'm seeing with these kind of support levels. It's still, look, like I said, I got my stop loss at break even. I don't mind if this thing shoots up again. It would still be fine. That would basically still mean that we're in a bear flag until we break 42K. And you guys already know my thoughts on this. If somehow we find a support hit over here and we end up trending back up to 42K, I'm going to be bullish again. And I'm going to be expecting that breakout because it would be very, very bloody impressive if Bitcoin can somehow make its way all the way back up to $42,000 once again. And I think that if we are able to do that and cross it, then of course we're going to do the same thing that I just described, hopefully on the upside, which is that we didn't establish any resistance on the way up. We didn't establish any support on the way down. We pretty much just took straight shots between these two yellow lines, right? Just straight shots between these yellow lines. Nothing really happened. And so I think it will be the same moving up. I think that, again, if we break this yellow line, we're going to go straight up to the next one, which is a $10,000 range. That's a big range for Bitcoin to travel in. Big, it's like 20%. I mean, that's a big range for Bitcoin to be traveling in right here. And obviously that's going to be very bullish, very exciting for the market. So I think that's quite exciting. See what you guys got going on in the comments. Thank you all for smashing up those likes, by the way. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying this very realistic analysis, then definitely make sure you smash up the subscribe button as well. Tick the bell, select all to make sure you get notified for these live streams. And if you want to get the real kind of updates and notifications of these live streams to make sure you don't miss them, you want to get more free analysis and stuff like that, it's all with the first link in the description down below. It's going to take you to my free trading Telegram group, where I'm giving you more insights into the market completely free of charge, myself and my team. And of course, if you don't have a place to trade yet, or you're looking for a better one than some shit exchange like Binance, Bybit is the place to be, in my opinion. I've been with them for years, absolutely love them. They are running a huge campaign right now, which ends at the end of this month. So you've only got about, I think, 7 days left, something like that, where you can gain up to $2,600 in bonuses when you sign up using the link down below. So for those of you, by the way, who haven't received your bonuses yet, it's because they're going to credit them 7 days after the campaign ends, which is in about 14 days. So that's why you might not have received. Some people have mentioned that they haven't received it. I haven't heard many complaints like that, maybe just 2 or 3 people, but that's hopefully going to help you out there if you are looking for the exchange. And like I said, Bybit is my favorite place to be. I've been using them constantly for years, absolutely love them, never had an issue with downtime or hacks or whatever. I mean, they're a very secure exchange from my experience. I don't even think they've ever been hacked. You know, Binance and stuff like that have been. This is a great place to be. So link down below if you do want to sign up to them. You're going to get a huge trading bonus, just free money deposited straight into your account, depending on how much you deposit as well. So definitely check that out. And if you don't even know how to trade and things like that, then I've also got my tutorial down below. So do check that out as well. But let's move back to the chart and finally throw some indicators on. Now you know why I think that we're looking at a pretty steep drop if we fall below 30K. I've outlined that pretty well. Let's also talk about where these indicators are. So let's start with the Ichimoku cloud. 4-hour Ichimoku cloud has just flipped into resistance. The issue with this Ichimoku cloud is that Bitcoin has been trading sideways for about 30 days. So this is not a reliable Ichimoku cloud. It was basically useless as support, probably also going to be useless as resistance as well. So I'm not paying too much mind to this. The 1-hour Ichimoku cloud is very close to the trend. A small move up will mean that we're going to start finding resistance here. And I think that the market is in quite a weak place. So a small move up could actually be pretty disastrous for Bitcoin, in my opinion. So that is something that I'm having to keep an eye on. And as for moving averages, this is a little bit more dependable. We did start to see a little bit of a rejection here. I still wouldn't use it too much because we don't have a big spread here on the 4-hour time frame. Equally the same for the 1-hour time frame, although it has actually been useful, but still I'm not really using indicators like this too much. I did actually mention this right here, that the trend has found resistance on the 1-hour EMA ribbon, where I told VIP members that I'd be entering this trade. And once again, if you don't understand posts like this, we have tutorials inside of VIP explaining to you exactly how I do stuff like that. So this is just one example of that. But this 1-hour EMA ribbon, I wouldn't put too much weight on it because it is just the 1-hour EMA ribbon, but it has rejected Bitcoin quite a few times. So it is still something to keep a note of anyway. And if we do zoom out onto the daily time frame, each of these things look bad, unfortunately. The 1-day EMA ribbon has definitely rejected us. I was talking to you guys a lot about how this is just a representation of how bearish momentum has caught up to the trend. So we could kind of trade into it and then end up moving down. And unfortunately, that is what we did. If we take a look at the Ichimoku cloud, it's also flipped bearish, and it's showing us that basically, I mean, if Bitcoin is going to be able to rally up, it better do that before the middle of July. Otherwise, it's going to be facing quite heavy resistance on the Ichimoku cloud, and this is where things start turning from, you know, relatively short-term downtrends. This is only 2 months into, you know, potentially year-long downtrends. So I don't think that's going to happen, but look, the possibility is there. I think it's super slim. I still definitely think that Bitcoin is going to set a new all-time high probably before the end of summer. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I think it's going to happen really quick, like way quicker than most people expect. But I wouldn't be doing my job correctly if I didn't outline this as a possibility, and if I didn't internalize that this is possible, that we could enter a very, very long-term bear market. Certainly don't think it's going to happen. The reason for that is that this is the first real time that the market has shaken the confidence of traders, and usually that's going to happen quite a few times before the market actually becomes bearish. So if I finish off that big tangent that I went on earlier on, which I think is incredibly important, what I was talking about is how the markets will go from good to bad to worse, and it will scare people. And I was giving you this example of what happened back in June 2017. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you tuned in late. So please rewind the live stream, go back to the beginning. Otherwise, A, this won't make sense to you, and B, you're going to miss something very important. But what's very important for me and by the way, you know that you're at the right place if you just skim to rewind. Wait till you see my face as big as it is right now. And anyway, so the point here is that the market will really shake people's confidence like that, and it will drop, and then it will recover. And that's the most important thing. It will do these absolutely terrible, shocking things. It will more than half, and then potentially drop even more. Really do everything to make you lose confidence in the market, and then it's going to shoot back up really bloody quick. And this is actually what's going to start making people feel very, very confident in Bitcoin. We're going to see that cycle repeating a couple of times where things are going to get very bad very, very quickly. And very slowly. And then they're going to get great very quickly again. So you're then going to have your confidence rebuilt. And you're going to live through that a couple of times until you start to be convinced that actually this thing can endure a real beating, and it's always going to get back up, and it's always going to be bullish. And that's exactly what makes you feel like a genius. That's what makes you feel like a great trader. That's what makes you feel like Bitcoin is indestructible. This is the first time that Bitcoin has done this in this trend to this extent. And the reason that I don't think this macro bull market is over is because it's only the first time. Usually Bitcoin will do this quite a few times until eventually it collapses. Not only that, if we switch it back to the chart, bear with me, if we switch it back to the chart, Bitcoin only managed to top the all-time high in December 2020, and it was only trending upwards until April 2021. So it was only bullish for 4 months. That's not long to be bullish. And it only tripled, right? Usually we'd see like a 10x return, maybe $200,000. So it was, it moved up fairly quickly, but it didn't move up for long in terms of time, and it didn't move up massively in terms of price. And it's only the first time that we've really had our confidence shaken in this market. So that's going to repeat. And Bitcoin will hopefully recover from this a couple of times until people really start to become convinced that Bitcoin is indestructible. It can't be broken. It can't be defeated. There's a massive, massive bullish bias in this market. People are completely infatuated, diehard believers of Bitcoin. They can't accept anything negative in terms of ideas. It's typical psychology. Honestly, it's quite disgusting watching people subjected to this. I was actually obviously a victim to this stuff. That's why I talk about it with so much color and accuracy. It's because I've been there. And what we see from there a lot of the time is that these people believe in Bitcoin so much, and they're actually proven right. Bitcoin will then do more crazy things, like it'll trade all the way up to say $140,000 and then crash all the way down to 80,000, and a lot of people will lose confidence. But those who live through this will know that Bitcoin's going to recover from this, and they'll be right. And that will happen a few more times where they're going to be right, and that's going to make them feel like geniuses until eventually they're not right. Until eventually they're not right, and the market crashes massively. We fall all the way back down to $5,000. Everybody's homeless. Everybody hates themselves. I'm not saying we're going to go down to 5K, but obviously the point is the market will do crazy things. It will then recover from those crazy things, which will build so much confidence. And those people who have confidence will be correct multiple times after that about these big things until the time they're not correct. And that's where, previously the Bitcoin market topped out at 20K and then fell all the way down to 3K. That's where we get price action like that, ladies and gents. So that's kind of big macro cycles described in a nutshell. Hope that was quite useful for you. If you found that informative, then please do make sure you smash up those likes to let me know that you like those kind of pieces in these videos. Those are all of the indicators. I'm now going to go to a couple of your questions and then head over to some Ethereum analysis. This is a very, very interesting Ethereum chart. So I'm going to take a look at this in just a minute. I have a lot to talk about for Ethereum right here. I know that a lot of you are very curious. Obviously, you guys know that I sold Ethereum all the way up here. Actually made profits on Ethereum while it was dropping. Again, the same thing. VIP members, myself, we've been making profits while this market was dropping. I mentioned my Ethereum position opened during this dump. That happened right around over here, where I was making money on Ethereum while it was crashing. I've done the same thing today. I'm in yet another, at the time of this post, plus 42% profit. Now a little bit higher or a little bit lower, and of course, a lot of VIP members in the same position. This person mentioning that that he lost a lot of money at the beginning of his trading career, lost 90% in the first 90 days, but now he's back, and VIP has helped a lot. He's been able to study a lot of the content and improved his skills. This member from Germany, bam, plus 250% profit, bam, plus 52% profit. This person gained the confidence to make his first trade in VIP after a month, and now just pulled $11,000 in a day with a 52% profit. Very impressive result. So if you do want to join VIP, like I said, there is a discount available to you all right now. Follow these steps on screen to gain access to it. First link down below, @ button, and then send message. Follow these links on screen. Ask me how to join VIP. My assistants are here right now. We'll get you enrolled before the end of this live stream if you do want all of that. And of course, depending on which package you're taking, you're also going to get free access into my 4Flies Academy course. What's very important about this stuff, ladies and gents, I was talking to, I met up with one of our yearly VIP members just now, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes before this live stream started. He was still with me. And one of the key things I was telling him is that, because he's a relatively new VIP member as well. One of the key things I was telling him is that in this market, like, obviously he has access to all of our resources. He has the Advanced Academy. He's got phone calls with me, whatever. I was making it very clear to him that at this time in this market, you stand to make a lot of money if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have to struggle to learn it, right? And this is where VIP comes in, where essentially what we're trying to do is shortcut your process to get there, because right now the market is very juicy, it's very easy to trade, it's very predictable, and in ranges like that, where these things are happening, if you have that head start and you don't need to, spend time and money learning lessons, and you can just learn it all in a fast track way using a course, learning from VIP, different things like that, really, keeping a trading journal. These are things that we talk about inside of the group. You're going to be able to shortcut that journey and really grab these opportunities by the balls. And that's very important because they're not going to last forever. The market is not going to be this easy to trade forever. So with this discount right now, now's your best chance. But I'm going to go over to the questions while you reach out. And again, if you do have a question, make sure you tag me by writing my name in your comment. And I'm going to start from the top, just kind of make sure that I can go through as much of these questions as possible, although there are quite a lot, so I'll do my best. 4Flies is my hero. Thank you very much, Zach. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. Why would major investors buy Bitcoin before the Tether investigation is over in December? Because they don't care about fear and uncertainty and doubtful headlines and things like that. Are 2 doji candles a reversal of a reversal or the same reversal? I would have said the same reversal. Interesting question. Any thoughts on the Elliott wave analysis of Bitcoin charts? Unfortunately not. I don't do Elliott wave analysis. Sammy, what do you think about the Chinese miners shutting down? They may be selling their Bitcoin. I totally agree that not enough shakeout so far. A drop under 30k to 20k will shake out many. I'm with you there, Kurt. That's exactly what we're talking about. The Chinese miner situation is bad. It's classic FUD. I obviously think it's mainly market manipulation, so I'm not worried about it. We've seen stuff like this a lot, and it's just not something that concerns me too much because it's just classic manipulation as far as I'm concerned. So not something that I'm worried about too much. Let's see what else we have here in the comments. Let me scroll down a little bit. Someone wants me to take a look at the weekly chart. I will go ahead and do that. I have a new haircut. Yes, I can afford one again because I'm in a profitable short position. Can I talk about Polkadot? No, unfortunately not. I don't look at things like that. I'm not particularly interested. I will get to the weekly analysis. Bear with me. We are under the 300 MA. I've never looked at the 300 MA on the daily chart, so I couldn't comment on that. Let's see what else we have. Have I put my house on the market yet? Price looks like it's going to 22k according to my analysis. I said I was going to buy. Yeah, I mean, obviously I was joking about that. I'm not actually going to sell my house because my mum lives there, but it would have been very funny if I did. You're a young person, but you have much wisdom about the subject. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, I am young, but I started out in this market 4 years ago, so a little bit more than 4 years ago, so that's a long time in the crypto markets. I mean, you know, a lot happens in 4 years in crypto. How bad would the market get if USDT turns out to not be backed by anything? Man, we've had this drama for like 3 years, 4 years. Like as long as I've been in this market, there's been some drama about USDT. And there have been multiple investigations and nothing really happened. I don't even know the technical details. I don't want to know. These are things that you worry about because you can't do proper analysis. You don't need to worry about stuff like that if you're doing proper analysis on these markets. Because it's not going to, if you're doing proper trading in this market, you don't need to worry about stuff like that. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. You know, obviously things like that are going to set off fear. But do you think it's a surprise that all of a sudden everyone's talking about USDT not being backed while Bitcoin is about to potentially drop down $10,000? This is clear market manipulation where bearish headlines are being released at precisely the right times to coordinate and increase fear. You need to be aware of that so that as a trader you can trade stuff like that, and more importantly, you can protect yourself from losing money. If you're not aware of stuff like that, you're just going to be a loser in this market. So that's my take on the USDT stuff. I don't care about the outcome. I only care about what the analysis tells me. Of course, it's going to scare people. What else would happen? But, you know, beyond that, I really couldn't care too much. What do I think of the quarterly futures expiry in terms of impact on price? No real thoughts. It might cause a big spike or a big dump, but no real thoughts. Where would I move my assets on a bear winter? I keep everything in Bitcoin regardless of where it is, really. I mean, I'll just sell more Bitcoin into USD or whatever, maybe into property. I don't know. I'm not too worried about that. Even if this turns into a big bear market, I'm still going to be trading. I was trading the whole of the Bitcoin bear market previously. I'm going to do it again if it happens. Let's see if we have any other questions. How bad would the market get? Okay, that's the same question. Do I think it'd be better to average out losses or sell all and wait for 20k and buy again? I can't give you financial advice. You know, I mean, being in a loss right now, a lot of people are in that position. I read something interesting in a book once, which is that it doesn't matter how much of a loss you're in, as long as you're still bullish on your asset. So your entry level doesn't matter. I mean, it matters to your P&L, but broadly speaking, it doesn't actually matter too much what your entry level is. What matters more is if you still believe that the asset is bullish. And if the answer is no, then that might be a sign to sell. Beyond that, I don't have any thoughts on questions like that. It is something that really detaches you from your percentage loss or profit. And that's important because if you're not detached from it, you won't make good decisions. Ethereum, I will talk about Ethereum in just a minute. Bear with me. I'm just going through more of your questions before I get to that. Let's see what else we have here in the comments. Would I be willing to take a look at XYO? I've never heard of that. No, sorry. Do I think it's a good idea to buy and hold Bitcoin or Ethereum at these levels since they've already fallen more than 90% and dollar cost average it later in case they fall lower? I mean, Suraj, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I give is financial advice, but I think that's a fairly good strategy. You know, like that's something I would consider if I didn't want too much involvement in the market right now. Forflies, are there many Teslas in Dubai? Yes, but not that many, but there are. Yeah, that's not a very helpful answer, is it? But there are. Let's see what else we have in the comments. All right, I think I'm just going to head back to the analysis right here onto Ethereum. Once again, thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you all for mooning up those likes, up to nearly 800 likes. Make sure you smash that like button if you are enjoying this, and of course, Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you find these videos useful. We're in the crypto winter. Those of you who are still around right now are the real ones. You're the ones who are gonna, pay attention while things are bearish, and that's going to reward you when things get better. I used to say that a lot, and every time I said it, it was correct. I wonder how many of you watching this live stream were around when I used to say stuff like that, where if you're paying attention right now, you're going to be, the future millionaires, the future people who get rewarded really well in these markets. Because one of the things, and this is the same thing I was telling the yearly VIP member when I met him just about an hour or two ago, actually 3 hours ago I met him, is I said that by keeping a pulse on the market while things are boring, when things are exciting again, you don't have to fight to regain your pulse on the market. You don't have to fight to reestablish confidence in the market. And that's important because that means you save time, which means you make money. Time is money in these markets. So being prepared sooner rather than later is always the priority. Always the priority. And as a trader, I'm always looking for shortcuts to do it. I mean, fortunately, I don't need to do that because I'm always paying attention anyway. I've just learned to do that, but a lot of people need to hear it. So there you go. Being in the market right now is going to be very, very useful for when things hopefully become exciting again, because it means that you're not going to have to scramble to remember what's happening, to remember how to trade, remember how to analyze, and that's going to be a major, major advantage in a market like this. So that's a big part for me. Let me head on to the, just got the notification that this was your live. It's late. Yeah, YouTube notifications are very late, and that's why joining our free Telegram channel is the best place to be to get more free analysis, updates, and of course notifications on these live streams. We're notifying you before these live streams go up, so you can join by clicking on the first link down below, and it's completely free. It's just going to ping it straight to your phone. So anyway, back to the Ethereum analysis here. Back to the Ethereum analysis. Bear with me while okay, I don't need to do that. That's fine. Ethereum RIA has really fallen out of the symmetrical triangle. It's performing really badly, unfortunately. I mean, this is abysmal. It's not surprising. This is what we said would happen on this YouTube channel. I said that it was going to probably target $2,000 to test it. It failed it really quickly, and it's now trading between 1,900 and 2,000, which was a resistance level. I don't think that this level is going to hold, and I do think that Ethereum is going to drop further. Although the good news is that it does have quite a bit of support in this whole range right here, so it's not that bad. It's not great either because it has dropped from quite low levels and unfortunately from quite high levels, and unfortunately now on the way up it is going to have quite a bit of resistance until about 3,000. Above 3,000 it has almost no resistance, so that's where I think it's going to fly. But in order to get to 3,000 it's going to have to beat a lot of resistance, and that is unfortunately what I think is going to be a challenge for Ethereum. I think it's still pretty bearish. I think it's very weak. It always is when Bitcoin is weak. Bitcoin down by 8.5%, Ethereum down by 13.5%. So again, this is exactly why I was selling my Ethereum way up over here, why I announced to VIP members that I'd be selling my Ethereum all the way up over here, and why I sold it somewhere around over here as well. I did sell it into Bitcoin, not into Ethereum, so it's not as impressive as it sounds, but still a great move because overall Ethereum, even against Bitcoin, has really taken a dump. Like I sold it somewhere around over here. It's dropped down a lot more since that time, right? So well worth keeping stuff like that in mind. I am trying to maximize how much Bitcoin I'm holding. I am somebody who believes in Bitcoin the most in this space, other than any other altcoins, and for me that makes Ethereum. I am going to buy it, and I think it's absolutely great. I'm just looking for a better entry level, and right now I'm not seeing it, unfortunately. So I am going to be waiting and holding off on that just a little bit before I do make that decision right there. So I see you all have reached out for VIP, by the way. If you haven't already reached out for VIP, like I said, we are running a discount right now. It's a flash sale. I'm in a beautiful profit right now on my Bitcoin position that I shared into VIP just yesterday. These updates are, of course, around the clock, but this trade actually wasn't planned, but I mentioned to VIP members that I was going to trade, I was going to consider trading a momentum position. So VIP members already knew I was looking to trade something, and this one was pretty good. It actually, I could have got a much better entry price, which I mentioned in the next post. But I stuck to my plan. It originally went very bad. I'm going to make a whole in-depth VIP video about how well that position went. And of course, if you want to see what those VIP videos are like, you can click on my profile picture and you can find the previous VIP video I made, which I actually made public by scrolling down onto my videos the page and find this one right here. The thumbnail says VIP video. This was a trade breakdown. You guys loved this video. It's very funny how it only has 14,000 views compared to 36 and 37k. That tells you a lot about how many people want excitement versus how many people want actual information. So if you're one of them and you actually want real information on trading, you want real behind the scenes information on how these trades work, unfortunately this one is 2 weeks outdated. VIP members will get the new one as soon as I close my current short position, which is in about a 40% profit right now. But you can watch this previous VIP video to get a little bit of a sense of how I do what I do in these markets, and this was a great video. And of course, if you're new to the markets, then please go down to watch this video, how to turn 1,000 into 1 million. This is definitely one of the best videos I've ever made on YouTube, and it's yours to watch right there, completely free of charge, and it shouldn't be free, so definitely check it out before I change my mind on this. Look at all these scammers, by the way. My god, every single comment, nearly every single comment is a bot. Look at this. They're telling you to contact somebody on Telegram. Guys, don't fall for this stuff. They're just everywhere. Look at this, contact on Telegram. Don't fall for this stuff. This stuff is not legit, and it's impossible to moderate these comments. I mean, they come, you know, so often. These are actually all 1 month old, but you know, these comments, they come all the time. Very, very hard to moderate them. But please, yeah, just be aware of that so you don't get scammed. A lot of these scammers, even people who impersonate me, who are just going to take your funds and then they're going to stop replying. Happens all the time. Unfortunately, they're very successful. Don't fall for it. Anyway, let's see if there's any more questions, because I think I have conducted the bulk of my analysis. Let's actually take a look at some other coins like Cardano, holding very well against Bitcoin. Obviously, it has been dropping against the dollar, though. Let's take a look at it against the dollar. It is down to $1.27. It's down to a long-term support range. Not looking great, in my opinion. Same as the rest of the market. Link is in a pretty terrible place. It's all the way down to $18 from an all-time high of about 52. So this was a big drop from the all-time high down to its current price. It's down by 65%. Pretty substantial drop, if you ask me. It is at a good support level on the long-term chart. It's at a great Fibonacci level, the 786 level, and this was previously an all-time high. So to see that it's starting to find a little bit of support at this old area of resistance is good, but I do think, like I said, that the market still has quite a bit to drop, especially something like Bitcoin, and when something like that happens, we do typically see the rest of the markets really getting pummeled. Unfortunately, it's the same thing with Swissborg token. I've been talking about this for a while. It's been in a bad place for a long time. I am still happy to hold it because I do still think that this whole market is going to recover upwards, but from its all-time highs, this has dropped really badly. It's also dropped by about 60, by 70%. I mean, this is terrible. This is a big drop that Swissborg token has experienced. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing support until it falls kind of back down to 23 cents, like around that area. But this is one of the tokens that fundamentally is, in my opinion, one of the strongest. The Swissborg operation is Swiss regulated, which to me is mind-blowing. There's very few options like that. When people are excited in these markets, or when people have stable long-term outlooks in these markets, which is obviously where I think we're going to go, a token like Swissborg is going to perform really well, in my opinion. So that's why I'm not touching it. I'm actually quite okay with this drop. And it's the same with the Bitcoin drop. Like, while we are dropping, and obviously I would prefer if we were rising, I'm completely fine with continuing to hold my Bitcoin even in the face of these drops, because I believe that these markets will recover. Even these altcoins, even the shitcoins, I think that they're going to recover. So I definitely think that something like Swissborg token is going to be able to perform fairly well. Let me see if there's any other questions for me to go through, though. I think as far as tokens, that's the bulk of what I wanted to cover. Nothing really interesting on some of the other coins that I'm watching. I do trade every pair on Bybit. They've added a lot now, by the way. You even got Doge on there if you're feeling like an idiot. You can trade Doge on leverage. Not sure if I agree with the philosophy of them adding that, but I guess options are good, so that's cool. Yeah, lots over here, but I don't really analyze coins like Polkadot, unfortunately, so I can't really talk about that stuff too much. I think for me, that's actually the bulk of my analysis wrapped up. So I'm going to go back to your questions. If you do have any questions, then please drop them in the comments. Once again, guys, if you are looking for an exchange to trade on, Bybit is a great place to be. And not only that, you need backup accounts for these exchanges. There can be downtime, there can be hacks, there can be, just anything that makes it inaccessible for you to get to your funds, and having your funds split across multiple different exchanges with multiple different accounts is the best way to insure yourself against those problems, because those problems do come up. And so I think Bybit is a great option for that. By signing up with the link down below, you're going to get a huge bonus as well. Well worth checking out. This is the exchange that I'm using, up to $2,600, which you're getting completely free in bonuses when you sign up with that link. And my tutorial on the Bybit platform is also down there as well. We have a couple more tutorials like that inside of Fly's VIP as well. And you guys already know what to do if you want to get the full package with our flash sale discount right now. What's my favorite pizza? Anything with pineapple is completely okay for me. But I've actually not had pizza since I was in Dubai, I think. Actually, no, I had pizza in LA. But it's been a while since I've had pizza, so I haven't been thinking about that, fortunately. Let's see what other comments we have here, other questions. Thank you all for smashing up those likes, by the way. We're so close to 1,000. Let's get this up to 1,000 before we wrap this one up. I think we are nearly at the end of this live stream now. I'm going to be wrapping it up now. Thanks for your great sober analysis. As always, top notch. Thank you very much. You're welcome. What about the head and shoulders on the weekly? Well, you guys know my thoughts on head and shoulders patterns. I'm not worried about them. I'm seeing two head and shoulders patterns. The first one I'm seeing is like this. The second one I'm seeing is like this. Definitely is a head and shoulders pattern. Does it show on the weekly time frame? No, it doesn't show on the weekly time frame. What about the 3-day? Yeah, I guess you could make an argument that there is a head and shoulders pattern here. You know, what I like to talk about more than head and shoulders patterns is what they mean. And what this means is that Bitcoin set a high at 42K, managed to break it, but then when we fell down, we couldn't break it the next time, which indicates a lot of weakness. That's essentially what a head and shoulders pattern is. I don't like to look at these patterns alone because they're not actually very informative. But when we consider that Bitcoin set a high here, previously broke it, but now it can't, that's a sign of momentum shifting to where the bulls just don't have strength anymore. In the face of stuff like that, it tells us that the market has to trend lower. Obviously, those kind of things are upsetting, and they mean that the market can drop much further. Other than that, I don't know what else I could say about something like that. What's my opinion on Binance token? It's probably dropped a lot, hasn't it? And I think it's going to recover up once the rest of the market starts to look rosy again. My God, $300, yeah. So, that's funny. You know, it's at good support. To be fair, it's definitely got good support at this level, but beyond that, I'm not so sure what else I see for Binance token. I mean, it's probably just going to start going up when the crypto market becomes bullish again. Please check the profiling tool. Is the 20K floor still there? Do you mean VPVR? And 20K floor, I don't even think that depends on the VPVR indicator. I think it's just great as psychological support. Do I play video games? Sometimes. I actually have a PS4 back there. And a PS5 actually. So Thor says I'm annoying. If I'm annoying, why are you watching my video? What is the situation in LA? It's not that bad. Like a lot of people are saying it's gone to shit. I didn't see any difference. If anything, it's still got all the same magic that it's had since the first time I went there, which was, to be frank, only about 2 years ago. So I never really saw LA in its prime or anything like that, but it's still hands down my favorite place in the world. And by LA, I don't mean LA County necessarily. I mean the whole area, kind of from like Newport Beach all the way up to Malibu is what I consider, as a foreigner, is what I consider to be LA. Just that whole area. Basically every area that LAX airport services, which is that whole, you know, big piece of land. And I love it. It's still my favorite place in the world. What do I think about Shiba? The crypto? I think it's stupid. Why am I holding if it's still going down? Because I think it's going to recover. That's why I'm still holding. Do I think ICP will recover? I don't know what ICP is. Will I ever go to New York? Yeah, I've been to New York many times. Thoughts on the Elliott wave analysis on Bitcoin? Unfortunately, I don't do it. Let me try doing some Elliott wave analysis. Let me embarrass myself publicly real quick. I don't even know, like, I still don't understand Elliott waves very well. I mean, I guess you could say that that's... I guess you could say that this is a good Elliott wave pattern. Is that what you guys are kind of looking for in terms of the Elliott wave analysis? And then maybe the ABC correct. I don't know. I'm not even. This is stupid. This is one of the most useless tools in trading, in my opinion. Like I don't know how people use this stuff properly. Like, it's so bloody subjective. And the issue with Elliott wave analysis is, okay, you can do this one fairly easily because if you draw it like the way I just did, we're literally at the end. So this one's quite easy to draw. But now you're going to do an ABC correction wave. I mean, you have to predict so many things. How do you do this? I forgot. You have to predict so many things on this chart in order to do an ABC correction wave that, like, you don't know if the market's going to fall down there, so you don't know if you're going to go back up here, and you don't know if you're going to find support back here, and you don't know if it's going to end. I don't know how you can do Elliott wave. This is the most useless tool in trading analysis, in my opinion. Like, I've tried to learn it. I just think it's terrible. I think it's a very, very bad tool. I don't know. Other people can use it, and if you can, I admire you. Honestly, I admire you, but I can't get behind it personally. Thanks for your work and your analysis. You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Newport is Orange County. Yeah, I mean that's what locals say, but to anyone who's foreign to California or even the United States, that whole area is I mean it's like the difference between, like, if you were a foreigner, like my friends in London will know this very well. If you were like people in London, you know that Essex is not in London, but a foreigner will think that Essex is in London because it's pretty much the same thing. When you zoom out and you look at the broader picture of Essex versus London, you wouldn't really tell the difference. So that's it's like a foreigner's view is it's all the same area, so it's the same thing. You know, like when I go to LA, I'm going to the whole LA County and Orange County. And they go hand in hand. Is LA better than Dubai? I mean, Dubai's a great place, but LA, for me, it's... The reason I like LA more is because you can drive. You can drive in Dubai, but it's a very small city. You know, like, you can drive from one end of Dubai, the city, to the other end in like 20-30 minutes. You know, like, to drive from one end of LA County to the other end, it might take you like 3 hours. So, very, very small compared to LA, and I like being able to drive. That's why the US has always had an appeal to me. What kind of music do I listen to? A lot of rap. Gangster, drug dealing, fucking bitches type rap. Bear with me. Can I present how I analyze from A to Z? What does my analysis look like on a common day? That is exactly what the Fourth Slice Academy course is for, and the second part is exactly what these videos are for. And yeah, I've been to San Diego many times. I love it. San Diego is one of my favorite cities. Definitely. Right, guys, I think we've gone off track a little bit. I'm going to start wrapping this live stream up. If you have any final questions to do with the markets, please drop them now. Let's get these likes up to 1,000. We're so close. We're only 70 away. Let's get the likes up to 1,000. Of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel Informative, then you know what to do. Right, if you want to make sure that you're not going to miss So I was just reading the comments. If you want to make sure that you're not going to miss more of this content, then subscribing is your best way to ensure yourself against that. Actually, the best way. Subscribing is the easiest way. The best way is to be in the free Telegram channel right here. because we'll ping you about our videos and live streams. Any plans for another LA meetup? Yeah, so I did an LA meetup. I was supposed to do a Dubai one as well. I'll do another Dubai meetup soon as well. Maybe later in the winter. Actually, definitely I'll do a Dubai meetup in the winter. In the winter months. LA meetup? Yeah, I'll do it again for sure. Yeah, when I'm back in LA. I don't know when. Is it wise to make a short position now? I mean, I'm in a short position and I feel pretty damn comfortable. Although my stop loss is at break even, so it's impossible not to feel comfortable, I think. I can't comment for you. You want to hear me close the live stream with a wrap? That's not happening. I don't have that confidence yet. I know there's going to be way too many people judging me right now. So that's unfortunately not happening today. Where do I feel is the safest to keep your funds? I mean, obviously a hardware wallet is the safest place. It's also the most impractical place. So security is a balancing act. It depends how important you take security, and according to that, you will act on what you should do. What is the most effective tool for chart analysis? It's probably horizontal lines for me, like this, or chart patterns, like basically saying that this is a downtrend and this is a bear flag, so it's going to trend down again. That like, these are super simple things that you learn very early on in trading, in analysis, sorry, like when you study a book on it. And I think that's all you need. That's all I've been using for like 4 years. All right, guys, I'm going to be heading off. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I am going to call it a night right there. Once again, if you want to gain access to VIP, we pulled a beautiful profit inside of VIP today. Here's the trade that I posted inside of VIP, mentioning that I'd be going short. I'm currently somewhere around a 42% profit, according to this post right here. Hit my second target. I've secured beautiful profits on my way to 53%. My stop loss is at break even. VIP saw every step of this trade, from concept to where I committed to it, and all of those things in between. Well, actually, there was nothing in between that, and everything in between this post, where it's almost like a victory celebration post, where I said it feels good to be making money while the market is getting destroyed. Not just me, of course, a bunch of other VIP members have been slaying in this market since they joined, really pulling beautiful, huge results, more than tripling this person's money in just one trade right here. And of course, this VIP member right here, making his first trade inside of VIP, bam, $11,000 profit, 52% gain. So that is super impressive. Again, the theme here is making money while the market is dropping. We're doing it now while the market is down at 30K. We were doing it before while Ethereum was just dropping over here, you know, down from $4,000 to $3,000. I even pulled this 35% profit. This is a recurring theme. And if you want to learn how I'm doing it, then once again, the steps to join VIP are all on screen right here. First link in the description down below. That's going to take you to our free Telegram channel, which looks a little bit like this. You're going to get more free analysis and insights on my trades and different things like that. And when you click on my name at the bottom of any post inside of that free Telegram channel, you're going to be able to click send message. And right there, you can ask me how to join VIP. With that, ladies and gents, I am going to be calling it a night. And I'll see you all in the next video or live stream. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.